It's official. The Bengals are back-to-back AFC North champs. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapine, alongside Elise Jesse, together again.
Yes.
Elise held down the fort all week long, and the Bengals, well, they held up their end of the bargain. No coin toss needed. Joe Mixon did the only coin toss today as the Bengals handle business. Beat the Ravens 27-16 to earn another date against the Ravens next week right here at Paycor Stadium. Not sure on the date and time yet, but it'll be next weekend in the wild card round. And the Bengals, for the first time in team history, win the division. And, well, both of us smell like cigars because there were a lot of cigars that were smoked inside the Bengals locker room, but the Bengals get it done.
Winning the AFC North division back-to-back years in the first time in franchise history, and it was a party in there. We definitely reek of cigar, and it was being smoked all around. Jesse Bates at one point said that he started to get a headache from all the smoke. He's not a smoker, but just a lot of celebrating. And you know what? I asked a few players if they celebrated after being told that they were AFC North champions after a canceled game, and they said, no, we did not celebrate it. This is our first celebration, and they were just enjoying each other's company, and it was fun to watch.
I was happy about the fact the moment we walk in, Burrow, sunglasses, cigar, posing with the quarterbacks, doing the Joe Burrow stuff. And obviously we saw everything last year of him celebrating and the LSU photos and everything. And I was happy because the week that they've had,
Yes.
in the year that they've had, and now they've won 8 straight, you want them to be able to celebrate. And I don't know what next week is going to bring or the playoffs are going to bring or if they're going to get back to the Super Bowl. And they don't either. But they've busted their ass. They've won 8 straight games. And I was worried that they were going to go in there and it was just going to be like, okay, we got to focus up next week. And instead, it was a party. Joe Burrow multiple times went to the equipment, the sound equipment, to make sure that everything was turned up. I think he was adding to the queue songs that he wanted played. It was a joy. I don't know about you. You might have been in – I wasn't in the locker room last year. Were you in any of the division locker rooms, like celebrations? Because that was unique to me. That was a first for me, and it was really cool.
That was very unique to me as well. And honestly, I'm going to tell you what, I think that Joe Burrow is obviously the instigator for all of that partying and fun that they were having inside that locker room. And I think that he realized how important it was for them to have the celebration tonight after a win over the Ravens in Week 18 because they had a very short week. They had an emotional week with Damar Hamlin, and now that he is doing better and they're starting to feel better about going onto the field and playing, I think he recognized that everybody could use a joyous, fun moment. And he brought a ton of cigars into the locker room, and he handed out cigars to everybody. And he was the main point for everybody to know that it was okay to have fun and celebrate this moment as a team.
Yeah, no doubt. Joe Mixon shouted out Party Source as his plug, which if you're in the Cincinnati area, you've been to Party Source for something,
Yeah.
whether you want some kind of special liquor or cigars. In Mixon's case, they have plenty of cigars as well. So who knows? Maybe Party Source will send us some cigars for Cincinnati Bengals talk. But no, I think that was a big point in this game, and we could talk about the game a little bit. I think it's going to look entirely different next week. Burrow mentioned it. He was off, and he was off. He had T. Higgins wide open right here for a touchdown, missed him. I described the throw to Jamar Chase in real time as a dime. It wasn't necessarily a dime. He was off today. Burrow was. And he admitted it. And I actually think it's good because the way he was playing, not good that he played like that, but you don't want to have that off game next week and have to battle through it. You want to have it now and then refocus and resync, and I think that's what he's going to do.
Well, with the fact that there's a high probability that they would be facing the Baltimore Ravens again, it seemed like Zach Taylor was calling a very vanilla game. They're not giving the Baltimore Ravens much to go off of because they're going to face them 3 times in 1 year, 2 weeks in a row. And Joe Burrow did not look like himself. But you know what? They still got the job done at the end of the day. And Joe Mixon's touchdown celebration, I've got to talk about that for a second because all the players were calling out Chad Ochocinco. They were all expecting him to pay that fine for Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had, I guess, T. Higgins brought the tweet to Joe Mixon's attention, and Joe was trying to figure out where he's going to put the coin, decided on his glove, ripped the glove out, ripped the coin out, did the coin flip, landed on tails. That's why he kicked it. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a totally different game next week. Baltimore got the advantage today, I think, because they were able to rest so many starters. All those guys got a week of rest, and now they get to come in next week in the playoffs fresh.
Yeah, it's certainly something to pay attention to. We'll see who plays quarterback for the Ravens. We're going to get to a big injury, but I want to talk about that coin flip a little bit more. It was a quarter, for those wondering what coin of choice that Joe Mixon picked out. Jamar Chase was one that directly he was like, Chad Ochocinco better pay that fine.
Yep.
He better pay the fine. But they didn't all. Yeah, they didn't all have quarters. Mixon had the quarter. He was always going to lead the coin flip regardless of who scored the touchdown. But I love that aspect too, and I think our viewers are and fans across the country and world are Bengals fans, because it's easy to wrap your head around all right, it's us against everyone. And that's what this team is doing. Zach Taylor's comments Friday. You never hear Zach talk like that. And I wasn't there. Everyone knows why. And we weren't there, but he never says anything that's even remotely controversial. And so the fact that he's like, we just want it to be fair. Hold up your end of the rules. I think this team has a chip on its shoulder. But you're right. There was a balance of we don't want to reveal too much, because the most likely scenario was the Ravens coming to town next week, and they are coming to town next week. So the Bengals played this right, and they have some extra added motivation going into what's going to be a wild environment next week here at Paycor Stadium.
Yeah, and to quote DJ Reader, he said that the situation with the coin flip was complete BS. He was not happy about it. Nobody that I spoke to was happy about the potential coin flip deciding where they were going to play their first game in the playoffs. So they all seemed to enjoy Joe Mixon's celebration that he pulled out after that first touchdown. And I think this is going to be an interesting game next week. And, you know, the Bengals are in a situation, you touched on it just before, the Bengals are in a situation where they might have lost another starter on the offensive line.
And we'll get to that in just 1 second, but she mentioned it. Playoffs, coins. You want some coin? Well, you got to get to MyBookie. How about that transition? Use promo code Bengals Talk right now. You're going to get a free deposit bonus with promo code Bengals Talk at MyBookie. I've talked about it a ton. I've talked about it all season long. If you've been waiting, if you've been like, man, I got to get in on the action. You're going to be watching the games anyway. You might as well, and you might as well take advantage of their free bonus with promo code Bengals Talk, and it's easy to cash out. If you deposit $50, you're going to get that free bonus. Once you use that $50, probably on the Bengals to beat the Ravens next week, right, if you're watching this channel, then you're going to get that bonus money and you could cash out right away. Again, use promo code Bengals Talk at MyBookie. At least let's dive into the injury, because Alex Kappa, ankle, we could describe it. I looked directly at his left ankle, and anyone that's sprained their ankle, strained their ankle, you know, the golf ball, the tennis ball, whatever you want to describe it on the side, that's what he's dealing with. That's what I saw. And he wasn't putting any weight on it, wasn't on crutches, was wheeling around the locker room, and did have 8 crutches to use if he needed them, but was wheeling around the locker room. This is the part where it sucks to have to play those guys, and that's the coin toss part of it. Boyd avoided disaster, was evaluated for a concussion, wasn't concussed. T. Higgins took a big hit but came back. But Kappa goes out, and we'll see if he can play next week.
Alex Kappa has been playing solid all year long. And I talked to Teddy Karras after the game, and he said that, you know, he would be really sad to lose Alex Kappa on his right side. And, you know, on the right side of the line, they already lost La'el Collins. So you have Hakeem Adeniji in there, and now you've got Max Sharping. And even though Karras said that I'm trying to keep all the names straight. Kara said that Sharping was a good starter for 3 years, and that he would be able to hold down that right side of the line. He said he has full confidence in him, but at the same time, he says that Alex Kappa should have gotten more credit for some of the stuff that Karras has gotten credit for.
Alex Kappa is the Bengals' best offensive lineman. It's not Ted Karras. I said it in the press box because when he went down, I'm like, oh, that's rough. It has nothing to do with Max Sharping. Max Sharping's a good player. I love that they added him on cut down day when the Texans, I don't know what the Texans were thinking, but maybe it was part of their tanking movement to botch it on the final day of the season and get the 2 pick instead of the 1st pick. I don't know why they won today. Anyway, sorry. The point is, Kappa's a huge part of this offensive line. And so hopefully, if he's out, it's a week. hopefully they can get that swelling down, get him some treatment, and go from there. I know on the broadcast, people were tweeting that he mouthed the words, "I'm okay." Mm-hmm. He might be okay, but there's a difference between being okay and, and not something super serious, and being okay enough to play at a high level next week. And he's such a huge part of their offensive line. So we'll see. But now we're on. Hubbard returned today. Hendrickson returned a few weeks ago. Those were 2 scares, post-game scares. We talked about the Hendrickson one right here after a game a few weeks back. It's another one now, and it's Kappa time. So we'll be on Kappa watch all week long for sure. And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, yes, this is another injury, but the Cincinnati Bengals have overcome multiple injuries. 3-1 with Jamar Chase out. DJ Reader, a huge part of their defensive line, was out for a significant amount of time. They continue to have injuries, and they continue to overcome them. One big injury as well, Chidobe Awuzie, out. He was there in the locker room celebrating with his sunglasses on. But he's unable to play for the Cincinnati Bengals right now, and that's another key element to their secondary that they've had to overcome. So I think that they will be in a position where they can overcome this, and I think that the Bengals offensive line will work extremely hard to make sure that there are no gaps or legs with the offensive line if Alex Kappa cannot go.
We're going to shower and get all of this stick up. Oh, my God. It's ridiculous. See, Joe Burrow had the advantage. This dude partying, smoking cigars, and then gets to shower while we wait in the media room. And every media member is like, man, it's getting worse and worse as everybody started to file in from the locker room. So hopefully I don't have to get this dry clean. I'm supposed to wear this next week. I don't have like 8 dresses. Yeah, I don't have to wear 8 dresses. I'm in trouble. Anyways, that's going to do it here where the Bengals handle business. Back-to-back AFC North champions. We have a ton up already. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Zach Taylor. I'm sure there's a couple more. At least talked to like 52 people in the locker room. So there's going to be a lot. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and shout out to Andrew Fox Miller for putting up with both of us. For at least Jesse, I'm James Rapine signing off for now. We're the Bengals. They win. We'll see you next time. 27-16. They've won 8 in a row. Can they get to 12 in a row? Do the math there. For at least Jesse, I'm James Rapine. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.